Okay, this is a video of the starting line, the starts, and downwind mark roundings. It starts off a little bit slow, but you will later on see we have about, I think, 6 fouls, and the fouls I was able to do a little zooming and slow motion and replay them again so we can all look at that. This is the start of the first race. Looks like the starting line is fairly square here in this particular race, as most people are getting ready to come down on starboard. And I believe about now the clock has gone off. You will see some boats tack over to port. It was a fairly square line. Okay, some of the boats are flipping over to port now. It's a clean start. There was nothing that really happened at this particular start. All right, this is the downwind mark for the first downwind rounding. As always, when you're watching this, you'll see people handle their boats different ways. Some people sheet smoother than others. Some people use the rudders smoother. Everybody was pretty well behaved there. This is the first time I've ever narrated one of these things, so if it's really bad, you can tell me later. I'll work on it. Yeah, somebody got locked into irons there. This is the second mark rounding of, I believe, the same race. And just be patient. We have some fouls and some good action. Don't worry. Now there's what I'm talking about the rudder being a little jerky with some people. I'm not going to mention any names. Okay, this is the second start I videoed. This particular start, a lot of people were coming up on port, trying to figure out where they wanted to be placed on the starting line. It looks like most people wanted to be up here on a starboard tack. I think we might have had a foul there. We're going to revisit that in just a second in slow motion. Looks like 57. Okay, here we are in slow motion. 57's coming across the line. He's doing okay on starboard, and maybe he thought he was a little further out front than he was. Decides to go to port, clears the 51, but boom on the 22. And at first I thought he might have been over early and going back around the line, but the boat just sailed on. And it didn't look like there was ever a 360 done. Downwind mark again. This was interesting. The 768 I thought had an inside overlap on 14 and chose to bail out at the last second. We're going to look at that again in a little bit. It was good boat handling, but from the perspective of the camera on the water, it certainly looked like he was inside of him, and for whatever reason chose to duck behind him and get behind him. I don't know if we'll be able to see anything better on the slow motion after a few more boats around here. This pack of boats had gotten a little bit ahead of the rest of the boats. There was a little contact there, and maybe the 88 didn't give him enough room. 57 took it a little wider than needed just to push him out there a little bit, but that looked like a possible foul. Okay, so here we have the replay. The 5 has rounded the mark. See how he certainly looked like he had an overlap and then chose to bail out. I guess he was a little unsure of it. Still very good boat handling there. And there's the 88 and the 57. They looked overlapped. 57 comes out a little bit, which was okay, and maybe 88 was playing a little too tight on him. And maybe the 57 didn't give him time to respond. I don't know how that one would go. Another rounding. 14 almost hits the mark. .22 did a nice job jibing and then heading upwind. There's the happy couple sailing past the mark. We're going to look at that again in a second. And that too. Okay, watch these two overlap boats as they come into view. '57's got to give him room. 24 has not yet rounded the mark. The '57 comes up and gets into the side of him. That's how it looked to me. And now, you know, they're pushing on the backstay and the stern. They're going to get all tangled up. And probably yelling and screaming at each other. And eventually, they break free of each other. Okay, this was a start. We had kind of a square line, and then the wind decided to shift a little south, favoring the starboard end, and I kind of got caught on the wrong side of the line trying to come up the line. And although it's okay to start late sometimes, the 25 is toast. He's a little too late. Back at the downwind mark. Don't worry, there's more boats coming. Now watch this. Boom, bang, crash. Inside boat should have had room, and the light blue or whatever color you want to call that, for some reason turned up into them, and really nobody was giving enough room there, in my opinion. Just all playing it a little too tight. We have that coming up on the instant replay here shortly, I believe. Okay. Here we go. Now it's very hard to tell who had overlap on who, but the inside boat definitely had the overlap on the light blue or aqua color. Didn't get enough room. I mean, you could probably look at this over and over again. And of course the 40, being smart, just went outside the whole mess. And he continues to sail on while everybody else is tangled up. We're going to watch it one more time. I know it's agonizing. See the 40 just go outside, says, I'm not even going to be behind these guys. I want nothing to do with it. I'm going outside of them. another start. I think the next two starts we have some fouls. I had wished I could not hear the clock from where I was sitting looking at my video monitor, so I didn't really know when the clock was going to go off. I wish I had. But I believe the number 6 right here is, yeah, that's what I thought. And then 57 rubs the mark. But we'll look at that again. Okay, this is almost the same part, same area where the other foul happened earlier. 6 decides he wants to go over to port. Clears the 22, but here comes the 14. Boom. Downwind again. Yeah, the wind at this point had really lightened up on the race course. Well, I don't know if I got a replay of that. It looked like the 27 didn't have an overlap and got his nose in there late, but nothing happened. Well, here's a mess. Here's a mess. We'll see if I did my job properly and got both of these on the instant replay. Okay, I think this is going to be 27. Oh, boy, it sure looks like he's behind the stern of the 88. Now, he's got room on the 14, no question about it, but I don't know. Not sure about that one. And now we have the other part of the mayhem that happened a little bit later. 40 looks like he comes up, hits the 3. The 6 is going inside. The 40, yeah, I mean, It's just, again, it's just everybody playing things a little too close, but it happens with these. Okay, another start. Wind's gone a little bit south. Starboard tack is preferred up top here. We have started. $57 tacks. Oh, he's clear. Okay. And now I'm going to follow the boats for a little bit. The rest of this video is me chasing the boats a little bit. Just kind of got tired of doing the start and the downwind mark, so I decided to watch the start and follow a little bit. I tell you, this really looks like a mess when you're down in the water looking behind all these boats. Port and starboard all coming into the mark. People getting themselves into a little bit of trouble. Okay, we've got another start coming up here. Oh, there's a foul behind the line, right behind the number 2. Let's see what happened there. Sure, you got the 5 going by. There's the 88, the 57, and I can't make out the other number. 768. Yeah, well. Okay, and we'll resume at regular speed. Boats have gotten separated, that were tangled up, and the gun has gone off. And threw another downwind mark in here. Not sure who the 40 is. 40 was sailing pretty good. Another downwind. I think in the future I might make these, oh, this is going to be good. Well, that was very smooth. I think in the future I may try to limit these to maybe 15 minutes or less. I didn't realize while I was editing all these clips and everything that this thing was running. It's probably going to be 30 minutes. Gun has gone off. And I'm going to follow the boats for a little bit. So as usual, after you watch this, if you do watch the whole thing, it just ran a lot longer than it should have. When I see y'all at the pond, give me your input. What's good about it? What's bad? Besides the narration. But I really think keeping these things to about 15 minutes is probably a much smarter thing to do. So peaceful and soothing, isn't it? Yeah, sorry about that. I had to look where I was going. You really get a sense of speed when you're following the boats down on water level. Yes, this video is actually over 30 minutes right now. At 31 minutes plus. Alright, hope you enjoyed. It's going to end in a few seconds. And we'll do it again. Y'all have a great day.